Think you know what power looks like? Think again. Beyond the bling and the splashy headlines, there's a world where true power resides and manipulates. In this arena, wealth isn't just inherited or earned, it's carried like a silent specter that commands nations and writes the hidden chapters of history. Welcome to the world of the Rothschilds and the Windsors, where fortunes are made and used to shape the fate of the world. In our electrifying exposé, we're pulling back the curtain on the dynasties that have long pulled the strings of global power. This isn't your everyday historical rundown. This is a peek into a world of scandal, secrets, and sovereignty that shapes everything from what you read in the news to the leaders you elect. Brace yourself for a thrilling ride through the back doors of palaces and banks. Are you ready to discover how deep the rabbit hole of power really goes? A background. Now, let's dish the dirt on the Rothschilds. If you've dived even an inch into conspiracy theories, you've bumped into the Rothschilds. They've been accused of everything from monopolizing global banks to messing around with the climate. With a rumored net worth of a cool $400 billion, it's easy to think of them as extraterrestrial moguls, or maybe just regular folks with an insane amount of cash. In truth, they're a banking heavyweight with roots tracing back to a small shop under a red shield in Frankfurt's old Jewish ghetto. The Rothschilds transformed from humble 18th century traders into a powerhouse banking dynasty, bankrolling kings and whispering into the ears of governments. The family's patriarch, Mayer Amschel Rothschild, started out as a simple coin dealer before climbing the social ladder to become a confidant to nobility. With his 5 sons, symbolized by the arrows on their crest, Mayer laid down a financial empire that spread from London to Naples, making the Rothschilds synonymous with unimaginable wealth and covert influence. Nathan Rothschild, the 3rd son of Mayer Amschel, truly knew how to play the money game. Establishing N.M. Rothschilds and Sons in London, Nathan's knack for strategic finance shone bright when he snagged the juicy contract to bankroll the Duke of Wellington's armies during the Napoleonic War. This wasn't just a bit of financial dabbling. It was the golden ticket that solidified the Rothschilds' place in the big league. Now, before you could say empire, Nathan was the go-to guy for gold shipments and ally funding throughout the war. His big moment came in 1815 when he got wind of Wellington's victory at Waterloo before even the British government did. While rumors swirled that he used this hot tip for a quick profit, the real play came later when he used the post-war economic scene to make a massive killing in the bond market. The Rothschild brothers didn't just stop at making money. They got themselves some fancy titles too, becoming barons by the grace of the Austrian Emperor in 1822. And, as mentioned before, their coat of arms was a fist clutching 5 arrows, which symbolized the tight brotherhood and their unified front. The family motto, Concordia, Integritas, Industria, or Unity, Integrity, and Industry, wasn't just for show. It was their recipe for success. As the industrial age roared on, the Rothschilds were everywhere. Railroads, Suez Canal, you name it, they financed it. Don't think of them as simple bankers. They were empire builders, shelling out the equivalent of $14.7 billion in today's money to European governments from 1895 to 1907. They even helped Brazil cut the cord with Portugal, orchestrating multi-million-pound loans that clinched Brazilian independence. By the end of the 19th century, the Rothschilds had their fingers in a plethora of pies, from Alliance Assurance and the Chemin de Fer du Nord Railway to mining giants like Rio Tinto and De Beers. What's intriguing is that their influence didn't even decline, for they funded everything from Cecil Rhodes' imperial ventures in Rhodesia to Japan's efforts in the Russo-Japanese War. Owning palaces galore and known for their philanthropy and impressive art collections, the Rothschilds weren't just rich. They were a synonym for a lavish, influence-dripping lifestyle. By 1909, Nathan, Lord Rothschild, was called the most powerful man in Britain, not just for his wealth, but for his uncanny ability to bankroll empires and influence geopolitical chess games from behind the silken curtains of high finance. Now, although the Rothschilds wrote the book on wealth and power, wait till you get a load of the Windsors, the royal rock stars with a history that's juicier than a scandalous tabloid. Windsors. The royal equivalent of a global brand, these folks are more than just your typical monarchy. Originating as the House of Saxe, Coburg and Gotha, their roots can be traced back to a 10th century noble, Theodoric, in the depths of Saxony, Germany. Wrapped in tales as thick as fog, some say they're linked to the legendary Emperor Charlemagne or even the Counts of the Harz Mountains. As time marched on, their influence ballooned across the Holy Roman Empire, scooping up lands and political clout like nobody's business. By the time teacups were clinking in Victorian England, the family was playing matchmaker at a continental level. Thanks to a strategic marital alliance between Prince Albert and Queen Victoria, arranged by the cunning Leopold, who just happened to be Belgium's first king, the family's tentacles stretched even further into the royal bloodlines of Europe. With ties to French, Austrian, and Portuguese royalty, the family was set for a legacy of power dressing. But as World War I threw Europe into disarray, the family decided to rebrand, dropping their German titles faster than a hot potato and adopting the quintessential British name Windsor. It was a PR move of epic proportions, especially during the tragic drama of their cousin Tsar Nicholas II's execution and Kaiser Wilhelm II's abdication. Post-war, they hustled hard to spruce up their image and kept the royal intermarriages buzzing. Fast forward to 1936, and the monarchy hit primetime drama levels when Edward VIII ditched the crown for love, choosing American divorcee Wallis Simpson over kingly duties, stirring a pot of controversy with a hint of Nazi scandal for extra flavor. His brother, George VI, had to step in, working overtime to patch up the family's reputation and secure the monarchy's future. Enter Queen Elizabeth II in 1952, flipping the script with her televised coronation and pushing the royal brand into the modern era. Her reign saw the Windsors dabbling in diplomacy, rubbing elbows with European royals, and riding the wave of the cultural renaissance of cool Britannia under Tony Blair. And let's not forget the fairy tale madness of Charles and Diana's wedding, which was more blockbuster than royal nuptial. So, if you're ever tempted to marry into the Windsors, just remember, it's not just about the glitz and the crown jewels. With their tale of power, drama, and a knack for reinvention, this family knows how to keep the world watching. Who wouldn't want a piece of that royal action after all? But enough of backgrounds and histories for now. Let's zoom in on the fabulous world of royal and near-royal bank accounts. The wealth. Imagine being a kid and having more money than you could ever count. Well, for Prince William and Kate Middleton's kiddos, that's just an average Tuesday. Little Prince George is sitting pretty with $2.8 billion. And his sister Charlotte? She's outdoing him at $4.3 billion. And yes, they're banking these billions before even hitting double digits in age. Jaw-dropping, right? But let's spread the royal carpet further. The Windsors don't just reign over a modest 2.7 trillion GDP kingdom. Oh no, their realm stretches across the globe, touching every continent. Yes, even the penguins in Antarctica might tip their hats to the crown. From the South Pacific island of Tanna, where the Duke of Edinburgh enjoyed a stint as a deity, to the chilly Canadian territories where Queen Elizabeth smiles from the $20 bill. And speaking of Queen Liz, did you know she technically used to own a sixth of the planet's surface? It's no wonder her face is on money. She practically was the biggest landlord worldwide. When you tally it all up, including their claims on some of the richest patches of Earth like Australia and Canada, the Windsor family might just be sitting on a staggering estimated fortune of $25 trillion or thereabouts. Now, Forbes tossed out a $28 billion estimate for the royal coffers in 2021, but let's be honest, pinning down the exact figures of royal wealth is like trying to solve a Sherlock Holmes mystery. They've got lands, castles, centuries-old treasures masked in as much secrecy as intrigue. For instance, their real estate portfolio is a dazzler. Buckingham Palace, Sandringham, Balmoral, and let's not forget the duchies of Cornwall and Lancaster. The latter two pulled in some hefty profits, with the Duchy of Cornwall raking in about $33 million and Lancaster not too far behind. As for the Crown Estate, well, it's a gold mine valued at nearly $20 billion, spinning off over $500 million in profits last year alone. But good luck getting the detailed ledger. Royal finances are tighter than Fort Knox. So while the numbers dance around, one thing's for certain. When it comes to wealth, the Windsors are not playing around. Sure, the Windsors have traded absolute power for constitutional charm, but let's not kid ourselves. they've got influence oozing out of every gilded corner of their very many palatial homes. Imagine being so famous that people permanently sketch your granny's face into their skin. Yes, that's another thing in case you didn't know. Folks actually sport tattoos of Queen Elizabeth like she's the latest pop icon. If that isn't peak celebrity status, what is? But fame's nothing without the cold hard cash to back it up, and the Windsors aren't exactly pinching pennies. Their real estate portfolio alone could make a billionaire blush, featuring several castles, mansions, and estates that most of us could only dream of if we even dared. And then there's the royal collection. Picture this, over 1 million art pieces, including 7,000 paintings, 40,000 watercolors, and about 150,000 old master prints. From Leonardo da Vinci to Rembrandt, they've got it all. Not to mention the crown jewels, casually valued at around $4 billion. It's like walking into the world's fanciest art store, except everything's just there for royal decoration. But let's circle back to those stately gigs. Kensington Palace? A modest $630 million pad. Buckingham Palace? Only one of the priciest and most famous buildings on the planet, worth a cool $4.9 billion. And the Windsors? They just call it home. But just when you think the Windsors have monopolized the glamour game, the Rothschilds slip in with their secret power plays and a talent for quietly amassing fortunes. Those masters of understatement have kept a pretty low profile since the 19th century, choosing to donate hefty art collections and sprawling estates to charity rather than flaunting their wealth. Their business interests are humongous, consisting of real estate, financial services, agriculture, and even winemaking. At the forefront, we've got Rothschild's continuation holdings in Switzerland, backed by a complex network of companies all over Europe. Despite stepping back from the glitz, they've remained a powerhouse in the financial sector, especially with N.M. Rothschild & Sons leading major mergers and acquisitions in the UK. But before that, in 1953, Edmund Adolph de Rothschild opened another bank, launching an empire of his own. The Edmund de Rothschild Group, a boutique of luxury money handling from Geneva, paved its path across 15 countries. By the mid-2000s, the Rothschilds were closing deals worth over $100 billion, proving that even without the public spectacle, the Rothschilds still know how to play the game and win. They're not just about hoarding cash, they dabble in everything posh from private banking to vineyards, and even yacht racing, because why not? Under the command of Ariane de Rothschild, they sailed through the 2007 to 2010 financial storm with their coffers intact, thanks to playing it safe with their investments. Then there's Jacob Rothschild, the fourth Baron, who took a family timeout in 1980 to stir his own financial portion, the Rothschild Investment Trust, now known as RIT Capital Partners. Jacob had a Midas touch, betting on gold and energy, and even buddied up with the Rockefellers in 2012, proving the old Rothschild-Rockefeller alliance was still kicking. He also kicked off J. Rothschild Assurance Group in 1991, turning it into a massive wealth management heavyweight. The Rothschilds have also been flipping luxurious London properties for record prices, and their investment game is strong in the 21st century with substantial stakes in oil and mining sectors. Even today, the family's fingerprints are on everything, from European banks and Austrian credit institutions to mining giants like Genel Energy. They've also played around in transportation and media, holding stakes in The Economist Group and French newspaper Libération. And let's not forget their swanky side. They own Club Med and, as mentioned earlier, some of the world's most elite vineyards, like Chateau Lafite Rothschild. These vineyards aren't just in France. They vine and dine in the Americas, South Africa, and Australia, all under the Rothschild family banner. Their taste for the finer things isn't limited to wines, however. The Rothschilds also have amassed one of the planet's grandest private art collections, often sharing pieces with public museums on the down low to keep their influence in the arts discreet yet undeniable. Hannah Rothschild's gig as the chair of London's National Gallery in 2014, just another chapter in their long romance with the arts. Switching gears back to the Windsors, and boy, isn't their treasure chest a topic. Top of the list, the crown jewels. We're talking about a marvelous collection of sparklers that could make even the most modest bling lover blush. The crown jewel, pun intended, of this collection is the Koh-i-Noor diamond. This 105.6 carat beast isn't just found lying around. Depending on who you ask, it was either a generous gift to Queen Victoria or a spoils of war kind of acquisition. Valuing this shiny rock is a bit of a headache, but let's just say it's worth a heck of a lot more than your average multi-million-dollar gem due to its royal resume and historical heft. And let's not forget, India wouldn't mind getting their hands back on it. But it's not all tiaras and tea parties for the Windsors. Controversies. Enter modern times, the era of 24-hour news, a hard-nosed beast that turned royal lives into global soap operas. Prince Andrew's name popped up in some seriously shady circles thanks to his ties with Jeffrey Epstein and an intro by Ghislaine Maxwell, the infamous daughter of media tycoon Robert Maxwell. This unsavory connection stayed behind for over a decade and ended with Prince Andrew stepping back from public duties as the controversies piled up like a bad English weather forecast. Welcome to the Windsor Show, where the drama is real and the stakes are as high as the royal family's towers. And in 2019, Virginia Giuffre tossed a grenade into the public sphere, with her allegations against Prince Andrew kicking up a storm of scandal. The prince tried to clear the air with a now notorious interview, but oh boy did it backfire. His bizarre antics only added fuel to the public's ire, pushing the royal family into a prickly mess of scandal. Questions remained like unwanted party guests. Meanwhile, the union of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, which started as a fairy tale, soon turned into a royal headache. Their decision to ditch royal duties and chase the American dream as of March 31, 2020, sparked hot debates that strayed into touchy topics of race and identity within the Windsors' orbit. With Queen Elizabeth II's passing, a massive change shook the monarchy, ushering in a reflective and transformative era for the Windsors, though under the cloud of these heavy controversies. On the other hand, the Rothschilds have been dodging conspiracy theories for over 2 centuries. You name it, they've been blamed for it. From monopolizing global wealth to orchestrating wars. But in modern times, Lord Jacob Rothschild handled it all like a pro. Despite all the rumors about the family's financial moves affecting the global economy, he chose to be transparent. He revealed the inner workings of RIT Capital Partners and other Rothschild ventures. Lord Rothschild's plan? Straightforward and clear. He didn't just aim to clear his family's name, but show how real power should be used for good, not just kept. His honesty and charity silenced the conspiracy theorists and showed everyone that his family's legacy is about making a positive difference in the world. But really, can we take all that at face value, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Conclusion. And so, as we dig into the worlds of the Rothschilds and the Windsors, it's obvious that the real power plays don't just unfold in the spotlight. Nope, they're often camouflaged in secrecy away from prying eyes. These families, armored in centuries-old wealth and weight, prove that the world spins not only on the visible gears, but also on the hidden levers that quietly shape our history. But here's the million, or should I say billion-dollar question. What undisclosed deals have passed between the halls of Windsor and the doors of Rothschild banks? What secrets lie buried beneath centuries of polished etiquette and gold coins? If this peek behind the curtain of power sparked your interest, don't just sit there. Smash that like button, hit subscribe for more deep dives, and ring that bell to snag every juicy detail we unearth. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, or tell us whose story of behind-the-scenes influence you think we should tackle next.